Hi everyone, welcome back. Let's write some more Leetcode today. Today we are solving minimum operations to make binary array elements equal to 1. So the problem states that we are given a binary array nums and we are able to do the following operation on this array any number of times, and the operation is to choose any 3 consecutive elements from the array and flip all of them. So flipping means that we would either change a value from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 0, and we want to return the minimum number of operations required to make all the elements in nums equal to 1. And if we are not able to do that, then we return -1. So if we look at this example, we can first flip the first 3 elements, and then we can flip the second, third, and fourth elements after flipping the first 3, and then after that our array will look something like this, and then we can flip the last 3 and it will be all 1. So we return 3 because it only takes 3 operations. And in example 2, we are not able to do that no matter how many operations we perform, so we just return -1. So now that we have seen some examples, let's get to how we can solve this problem. So the intuition behind solving this problem is that we should know that in order to flip the first element, the only combo that we can use to flip is the set of the first 3 elements. So therefore, if the first element is 0, then we might as well just flip all 3 as the first step, because that is our only option and we know we have to do it at some point. And after flipping the first step, then we can use the same intuition for the rest of the problem. And since we need to flip 3 continuous elements at a time, we will just iterate to the third to last element. And if by the end of the iteration, if the last element or the second last element is still 0, then we will return -1, because that means we are not able to convert it to all ones. Or otherwise, we return the number of steps, which would be tracked with the result variable. So let's go through this example real quick. So in the first step, we see that first 0 needs to be flipped, so we'll go ahead and just flip the first 3 elements. So now we have 1 flip, so we need to update the result, and we see that the second 0 needs to be flipped. So let's go ahead and flip this 3 as a combo and update result. And we see that the third element doesn't need to be flipped since it's already 1, and we come to the fourth one, we see that all these 3 need to be flipped, so we'll flip these 3 as a combo, and that will be our result. And the time complexity of this problem would be O of n, where n is the number of elements in the input array, because that is the number of elements we may need to iterate through. And the space complexity would be O of 1, because we are not using any extra space. So now let's get to the coding part. So first we'll set the result to 0, and then we will do for I in range 0 to the length of nums -2. And if the number happens to be 0, then we need to flip that number and the 2 numbers following that. And we also need to make sure to update the result, so increment result by 1. So if nums of I plus 1, set it to 0 if nums of I plus 1 is 1, or else we will set it to 1. And we will do the same for the second element. Nums of I plus 2, or else we will set it to 1. And afterwards, after iterating, we need to check if the last 2 elements are equal to 0. If they are, then we need to return, if any one of them are actually, then we need to return -1. Otherwise, we have successfully flipped the array, then we can return result. Okay, see if it works. Okay, perfect. Hope this was helpful. Thank you all for watching. If you have any other questions or comments, feel free to leave it down in the comment section, and I hope to see you all again soon.